I'm Chef John Folse. Food is so much more than nutrition here in the South. Every weekend on Louisiana's back roads and bayous, our festivals celebrate the food, music, and cultures that make us unique. Why not join me as we visit the fairs and festivals of our state and cook up another great taste of Louisiana?
Funding for this program is provided by the Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism. Vieux Carré, Zydeco, Atchafalaya, Natchitoches. In Louisiana, you'll say things you've never seen before.
The town of Madisonville on the Tchefuncte River hosts one of the most unique celebrations in all of America. Founded in 1989, the Wooden Boat Festival pays homage to all of those beautiful watercraft, both large and small, built long before the age of technology. Why not join me as we sail our putt-putt down the Tchefuncte and visit the Wooden Boat Festival? What an experience to ride with Shane Doucet and his wooden putt-putt powered by a 2-horsepower engine patented in 1902. The Wooden Boat Festival was founded to shine the spotlight on a unique and interesting art form that has declined over the years, but is now on the upswing, wooden boats. Here on the Tchefuncte River, thousands of visitors come to witness and pay tribute to those wooden masterpieces docking here from throughout the country and even worldwide. Wooden boats are on display all weekend long, and the profits from this festival benefit the Lake Pontchartrain Maritime Museum. This museum, dedicated to the preservation of boating history, dates back to the 1700s. Boats of every shape and design, from the simple rowboat to the wooden palace of yesteryear, arrive here from home ports throughout the nation. Spectators enjoy food while viewing boats moored here from New Orleans, from St. Louis, and even the Ursa from Destin, Florida. Even the craft show takes on a different look. The pottery is painted with seafood designs, and a separate tent featuring nautical decorations is overfilled with items ready for purchase. Right around the corner is the Kids Boat Shop, staffed by the St. Tammany Woodcarvers Guild. The booth is of special interest to the kids attending the festival. Children simply walk up to this booth and for a small donation pick out pieces of wood that have been sawed to various shapes and sizes. The pieces are then handed to one of the woodworkers who, at the child's direction, assembles a wooden craft ready for sailing. The main attraction at the Wooden Boat Festival is the boat building and racing contest. This quick and dirty competition included 14 teams, all given the same materials and time frame to construct a boat that is seaworthy. The teams worked diligently to finish the boats and to decorate them in time for the race. Once painted and sails are in place, the boats are ready for water. As you can see, there are no structural engineers, no master boat builders entering this contest, just a bunch of good guys and their friends, including the Blues Brothers, who come together for fun and camaraderie. Boats with names like Splish Splash, powered by sail, hit the water in hopes of a win. The idea here is to get to the finish line first, even if you and your crew have to find a bucket to bail out some of the water. Come on, guys, just a few more feet to go. Well, it's really something to see, and the imagination and the creativity of these builders are really, really incredible. Look at this thing. We're invited onto the Ursa, a 1929 80-foot yacht for rest and relaxation with Captain Gene Smith. Hey, Gene! Hey, there you are.
Hey, John.
Man, good to see you. Good to see you. How you been?
Good to see you. Welcome to the Ursa. Let's go join the party.
Come on, I'm ready. This boat is typical of many wooden yachts built at the turn of the century, complete with mahogany walls and leather furnishings. This one even sports a gorgeous mahogany hot tub. We joined a few of Captain Gene's friends for hors d'oeuvres and champagne in the stateroom. I don't know whether it was the quality of the food or the friends on board, but what a wonderful afternoon spent here on the Ursa. It's definitely an unbelievable vantage point to view and enjoy the activities of the Wooden Boat Festival.
That's amazing. There you go. Cheers.
I can't think but just laugh as hard as I can when I think of these guys going down the Tchefuncte River in these boats that they've worked on overnight, put them together, paint them, build sails for them, and then try to make them seaworthy enough to get them to the finish line. You saw it, what fun that is in this little bitty town for the Wooden Boat Festival. Boats have been a big part of Louisiana culture for so many years. Obviously, we're about a third water, so naturally, if it wasn't for boats, we would have very little transportation in the bayou country. But the Wooden Boat Festival, as I said, pays homage to all craft, whether the little bitty paddles or the ones that take paddle for power or the great big yachts from the turn of the century. You have to come to this little festival, enjoy the weekend. Some of the most beautiful boats that you'll ever see are parked right there, and you can jump on them, meet the people who own them, and talk about boats, and you may, who knows, you may own one yourself one day. I have a very special guest coming into the kitchen with me today, a guy who knows a lot about boats. Don Scafidi, his name even means of boats in Italian, but Don owns a boat called the Blue Max, and his boat is very famous at the festival. We're going to talk about it a little bit. But he graduated from the Merchant Marine Academy years ago, and during his lifetime actually held posts that he was responsible for all maritime affairs throughout the world, the Mediterranean, Africa, the Middle East. He knows a lot about boating, believe me, and he's going to come in and we're going to talk about cooking and wooden boats. Now, what kind of foods did I find that weekend as I jumped from boat to boat? Obviously, a lot of seafoods. We're on the river. A lot of just party foods, things that you could just grab and throw in your mouth as an hors d'oeuvre, all with a glass of champagne or punch, obviously. So I want to show you a couple of the dishes that I not only experienced that weekend, but some of the things that we've put together since. Take a look at my platter here, because the first dish that I'm going to do for you is a lump crabmeat cheesecake. Very, very simple to do, and I'm going to show you in just a second how to do it, but I want to show you the lump crab meat first, this beautiful jumbo lump from Louisiana. I call this, as you know, the pearls of bayou country, and it's the shells that we use to create the sauce. In fact, right next to the platter, I have a little skillet of the crab shells. As you can see, the claws, still meat in these claws. I have some carrots and onions and garlic, bay leaf, thyme, a lot of herbs, and these ingredients have been roasted to pull out the flavor. I threw this in the oven at about 350 degrees for a couple of minutes, and now I'm going to make a wonderful sauce to go with these little lump crab meat cheesecakes. I'm going to start with a little bit of my buttery flavored oil. I'll put a touch of it down in this skillet, and I want to get this heat up because I want to throw all of those roasted ingredients into the pot here to saute them and create more flavor to create this wonderful sauce. The crab shells go in first. Yeah, I know a bunch of you are saying, crab shells, we throw that away. Hey, you better not throw them away. This is wonderful flavor. You've heard the old saying, the nearer the bone, the sweeter the meat. And that's a fact. You want to make sure that all of that good flavor comes out of those shells into this skillet, especially the roasted flavor and the roasted flavor of the vegetables. So saute this around. Remember, do this with crab shells, shrimp shells, any kind of seafood shells, but also the bones of chicken. After all, this is stock. This is where that great flavor comes from. That's what we're creating here. Now, just kind of throw that around a little bit. I can smell the thyme and I can smell that basil all coming out of this skillet, the garlic, really, really nice. Now, I have to pull more flavor out by adding a little alcohol to it. I could add sherry, I could add Madeira, I could add any of those liqueurs. I'm going to flame this in brandy because I think brandy gives a seafood sauce, a sauce non tua as I'm doing it, kind of like a Newburgh sauce. I'm giving it the best flavor with a little bit brandy. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in, and it's going to flame. Oh, yes, it's going to flame. Be careful of your smoke detector. Might go off there. Just kind of take it off of the fire. You don't want that to blaze through the kitchen. Move it off and then kind of put it back on. It goes out right away, though. And then I'm going to add a little bit tomato sauce because this is going to be a pink sauce, kind of like, you know, Newburgh. Newburgh has that great pink color. This is a sauce non tua shellfish sauce. I'm going to add heavy whipping cream. And, of course, you can use skim milk if you want to and just put a little roux into it. But I'm going to add heavy whipping cream to it. And then I could add just a little touch of stock. I want to reduce this for just a second, let all those flavors reduce. And that's where the sauce will actually come from. I'll mount a little butter to it at the end. I'm going to season it with a little touch of pepper, a little bit salt. Just put a little pinch of it in there. a little bit of my Louisiana pepper sauce. I'll just sprinkle a little bit for spice. And you can see how this is going to really start. Look at that nice color. It's just starting to turn pink, and that cream will have a great seafood flavor. So now that the sauce is reducing, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make the cheesecake very, very quickly here. I have the ingredients on my tray. I want to look at them one more time. I have the jumbo lump crab. I have tomatoes, garlic. This is the little purple onions. You can use shallots. You can use any of that. Basil, thyme, all of these wonderful things. Lemon juice. And then I've gone ahead and buttered this little souffle cup. Now, in my bowl, I have some Philadelphia cream cheese. You see the Philadelphia cream cheese here, and I've let it get to room temperature with 2 eggs. And you want to kind of blend all of this together with the eggs. Go ahead and mix that in, just as you do any other cheesecake. Just kind of toss all of that together, blend it well. Make sure that this sits at room temperature for a good while because you want it to blend quickly. The eggs will hold it all together. See how it's really smoothing out in this bowl. Now I'll come in and I'll add all of my flavors, my other flavors, I should say. I'm going to put my onions in. I'm going to put my garlic. Just go ahead and put a touch of garlic. I love garlic, so put a lot. I'm going to put the tomatoes for color. Remember, this cheesecake is pretty typical of most cheesecakes, just beginning with eggs and cream cheese, a little bit thyme, basil. Put your own spices and flavor in here. I'm going to spice this up Louisiana style. A little squeeze of lemon juice is going down in here. And then I'll blend that one more time just to make sure all of those flavors come together nicely. And then I'll fold in that jumbo lump crab meat. Of course, this will all hold together with the eggs and the cheese as it cooks, but I'll throw the lump crab in there. Boy, I tell you, look at that. Just take a look at that bowl once I fold it all in like this. And then go ahead and season it. Salt, pepper, a little bit more of that nice spice. And then you're going to put it in that buttered ramekin, put that in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. Be careful, everybody's ovens are a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and spoon that in, just like this. I think you get the general idea. And all those pretty flavors are going to cook together with that jumbo lump crab. And I want to show you what it'll look like when it's all said and done. Let me get this out of your way. And you want to remember that you can use this scallops. You don't have to use jumbo lump crab. You can use scallops, you can use shrimp. Take a look at this. And you want to serve it as an hors d'oeuvre. I have the cheesecake right in the middle with some little croutons, and I'm going to put some purple cabbage, some little orange around the outside of it, and let people just come with a knife and spoon that wonderful little cheesecake onto the croutons, and it's going to be a magnificent appetizer on your wooden boat or on the dining room table, either one. Now, the next dish I want to do for you very quickly is I want to show you how to pickle things, because when you think of hors d'oeuvres, you think of eating pickled carrots, or you think of just all the nice little, in Louisiana, pickled quail eggs, pickled okra. So I want to show you how we do that real fast here, and I want you to take a look at this platter, because this is all of the things that we pickle in Louisiana. You can see that I have the okra here, and of course these have been kind of washed and made sure that they're nice. All the little spots are gone. I've cut the little stems off. This is green beans, really nice green beans. Of course, broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, celery. Any of these things are really good. Here's quail eggs, by the way. I know you heard me say quail eggs a minute ago. Onions, we actually pickle these in a nice hot spicy sauce. And of course, my pickling spices. I have the little peppers, cinnamon even, to put some nice flavors in there. Peppercorns, pickling spice that's made with all of those wonderful gingers. And you can buy any of this in the store, by the way. Let your, again, imagination run wild here. So I'm going to start off by making the pickling spice. So I'm going to come over to my enamel pot. You want to do this in an enamel pot. Go ahead and bring about 3 or 4 cups of water to a nice boil here. And I'm going to add vinegar, a couple cups of vinegar to it. And once the vinegar goes in, then I'm going to put all of my pickling spices in. And again, you can do whatever you want here. I'm going to put in the little peppers, because I do want some spice here. I'm going to put in the multicolored peppercorns. Dill is always nice. And then, of course, cloves will give it that nice sweet flavor. And just kind of move all of that around into the pot. I'm going to season a little bit more with a little touch of salt and pepper, because I want that vinegar to have some nice flavor to it. And go ahead, put some herbs in here if you want to. Just add a little bit more. I put dill Use a little bit more. Bring that to a boil, let that cook for a couple of minutes until all of the flavors develop, and then you can play with it. Now, what I've done, I've taken a little jar here and I've put some okra in it, and what you really should do is to take the okra or any other vegetable and soak it overnight in some of this pickling lime that kind of keeps it nice and crispy. You can buy pickling lime in the store. And then after it's soaked, rinse it off, put it in the jar, and after your pickling spices and the water and the vinegar has cooked for a little while, these things are ready to go. They hadn't been cooked, they're raw. I put all kind of multicolors in here, red bell pepper, yellow bell pepper for color. Now, assuming that this has been cooking here for about 15, 20 minutes, now I'm going to take all of this beautiful pickling liquid and put it right into my jar of crispy vegetables, and make sure you put some of that color in there. About a 1/4 inch from the top is where you want to put it. Put your lid, make sure you have a nice clean lid, screw it very tight like that, and you can see how pretty all of those colors are in that jar. And then go ahead and submerge it into your pot, your pickling pot, which is going to have enough water to bring this to a boil. You want to submerge it and boil it for about 15 minutes to come up with all of those great pickling things for the hors d'oeuvre party like you saw on the boat. Look at here, pickled carrots. I have pickled quail eggs, and in fact with the quail eggs I always add some extra hot sauce to it. That's why it's got that nice red color to give it a really, really nice look. Isn't that fantastic? I love these vegetables. Got a great flavor to it. Let me show you a couple other things that we found on the boats as we were going through the festival. Here's a little roulade, and I like to call this my Rockefeller roulade because I have on this some crab, some shrimp in puff pastry with a little spinach and a little herb saint liqueur, really nice. Right next to it, I have my smoky fish platter. I have some okra that's stuffed with cream cheese. I have my smoked fish. I have my grilled shrimp, oysters on the half shell, really, really, really nice. And of course, again, as I say, let your imagination run wild with you. Okay, Don, I told you my good buddy Don was coming in to visit with us in the kitchen. He's going to talk about his boats, and he's going to talk about traveling all over the world. How you doing?
Hey, boy, it smells good in here.
Man, I tell you, sailors always look like sailors. You look great. How you doing, okay?
Yeah, doing fine.
When we were talking the other day, you told me, now you grew up in New York as a young guy, but you told me that you have real deep roots in Louisiana.
Oh, my grandpa's from Bayou Lafourche.
Is that right?
Yeah, they one of the first Webb families to come in.
Is that Webb, huh?
Yeah, they were from Alsace-Lorraine, and he had a sugar plantation in Bayou Lafourche, and that family is all buried down there in Thibodeau.
Is that right? So that's W-E-B-R-E.
Right.
We call that Weber here.
They call it Webb Bray, but they say Webb here.
Well, your boat, the Blue Max, what a gorgeous boat. I came back after touring it that day, and I said, I have to create a punch. I want to create a Blue Max punch for that boat, and I want to give you the recipe. Why don't you go? Let's come over here and play with this a little bit. And I'm starting here with my nice little bowl. I have some ginger ale in it. Of course, you know how punches are. People have a lot of different ideas. I want you to stir this up while I put into my ginger ale a little bit juice. You can use pineapple juice or orange juice, any of those things. A little champagne. I'm going to drop the champagne in here. And you can use non-alcoholic if you want. Y'all, people do use non-alcoholic on boats, right?
No.
Never happened. And then Blue Max, I'm going to do blue curacao just to put enough blue color in here to give it a really nice light blue color. You want to put enough of it in there to give it that nice look so that as people come onto the boat, they'll recognize it as something made especially for you. Now, I need to get some ice out of the freezer, but I want you to look at these gorgeous paintings. I took some of the paintings out of your book because as an artist, as a marine artist, you dabble in paint, and I think the portraits, the paintings that you do of those boats are magnificent. So I want you to tell us exactly what it is that we're looking at here.
Well, that one is, believe it or not, is a British yacht at the turn of the century. It was a square-rigged yacht, and I sort of depicted it coming out of the fog bank.
I love the way it's coming out of the fog there. It's just beautiful.
Thank you. That was also a British vessel. It was a cargo ship called the Tamandra. She's coming out of the west coast with a full cargo of lumber, even on deck, and going to Japan. And that, believe it or not, is the St. Mary. That was an American clipper ship, came out of the East Coast, around Cape Horn, for a voyage to the West Coast, and sunk on a maiden voyage.
Maiden voyage, what a beautiful ship.
Unbelievable. And that was the original painting for the poster for the Wooden Boat Festival for this year.
So you do the poster every year?
I've done the poster for the last 5 years, yes. And that boat was built up in Philadelphia, brought down to Madisonville. It was built in 1878, and it sailed in Lake Pontchartrain until the 1940s.
Gee,
it's wood. It's a steam vessel, a wood boiler, and magnificent old boat.
Oh, isn't it gorgeous? Really, really nice.
They also built. They used that as a model and built 6 more at the shipyard in Madisonville.
So we should have seen those on Lake Pontchartrain
Right.
at some point in time. I'm going to go ahead and put in here some nice ice cubes, and these ice cubes have been already filled with blueberries and all kind of stuff. I want to go ahead and give you a little taste of this Blue Max punch here, and I want to just go ahead and give you a little taste of that so you can sip on. Where does yours hang? Does it hang in galleries around Louisiana? Or?
Well, there's a Grisco family in Morgan City. You have 3 galleries, one in Washington, D.C., the Grisco Gallery. They have one in Atlanta, Madison Gallery, and then they have the Fine Arts Gallery of New Orleans.
Good.
They have all my paintings.
Oh, so if I wanted to go see a little bit of your art, I could find it right there?
Oh, yeah,
great.
fine galleries, fine art galleries.
Oh, well, hey,
Well,
cheers.
salute.
Salute. Don, why are wooden boats unique?
Well, it's an art form that's been developing for thousands of years. I mean, you start with the Noah's Ark, if you want.
Right.
Right up to the present, and it's each one is unique. If a boat, for example, if a boat's built from the same set of plans, right, by the same people, they won't be the same because just the man's hands are going to be. Just like you can't paint an identical oil painting.
Right. How large is the interest? I was walking the shores there at the festival and seeing all of these magnificent boats. And I had to think, I can't imagine this many people interested in boats, not even counting the 30 or 40,000 people walking the festival grounds. How large is the interest in this?
It's huge. I subscribe to a publication, Wooden Boat Magazine, but they have a big wooden boat festival up in Maine every year. They have one out on the West Coast and see the Washington, Oregon area. They have, of course, the one in Morgan City. In Madisonville. But they also have a big one in Brest in France. That's a huge one every year. So it's worldwide interest in wooden boats.
What about the boats themselves? Are they still made? I mean, with all of the materials now, fiberglass, people can still buy a wooden boat made from scratch?
Oh, absolutely, sure. I mean, the big area for wooden boat construction is up in the Northeast. But we have companies here right in Houston, in Texas, that build wooden speedboats, gorgeous boats, magnificent. They feature them at the boat show. So
if I wanted to find a treasure, I'm in love with a wooden boat, I've been to the festival, I love it, where would I go to find one?
Well, one place you could look at is Wooden Boat Magazine. They advertise boats to be restored. A fellow called me the other day from Dallas, I think it was, asking if I knew somebody who would restore a boat that he had found, a 51 model. So, there's a couple right in Madisonville looking to be restored.
Now, so you were telling me somebody will actually give you a boat if you look hard enough. Right?
That's right.
What about your boat now, the Blue Max? What a magnificent specimen that is. Tell me about it.
Well, I'm very proud of her. I bought her 3 years ago, and she was all painted. I restored it. It took me a year to restore it. And then I got it in the condition that I wanted it, and I put it in the last 2 wooden boat shows, and I'm proud to say she won both of them, Best in Show.
And it should have. It's fantastic.
But, she's a magnificent boat.
What does an owner like yourself get from going to these festivals?
Well, the enjoyment I get is seeing the pleasure that the people, the enjoyment they get out of seeing something beautiful. And you'd be surprised how many people really appreciate the woodwork. I mean, even pirogues, the beautiful pirogues and dories, and even the small ones, the prams and things. Not only the big boats.
It doesn't have to be a floating palace. It can be a small.
But the workmanship is so fine. It's such an art form.
Well, you and I, last time we were talking about traveling in the boat, you were telling me that you're going to take your boat on a real extended voyage. Where are you going?
I plan to leave in the next couple of months. I'm going to go down to the Caribbean for a year more. I'm planning on, we'll sail from New Orleans to the Dry Tortugas, to the Keys, the southern Bahamas chain, Great Inagua, through the Windward Passage to Jamaica, over along the south coast of Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico to the Virgin Islands, then down the Windward Chain, and around the Caribbean and back.
And all the way back to New Orleans. Well, I hope that I can meet you somewhere along the way and jump on the Blue Max with you.
You'll be welcome anytime you cook like this.
Well, great to have you with us today, and thank you all so much for stopping by as we talk about fairs and festivals, and come back again as we continue to cook up more great Taste of Louisiana. We're going to drink Blue Max Punch.
Thank you.
Funding for this program is provided by the Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism. Vieux Carré, Zydeco, Atchafalaya, Natchitoches. In Louisiana, you'll say things you've never seen before.
More information on events in Louisiana can be yours at no cost. Call 1-800-36-GUMBO for your free Louisiana tour guide listing festivals, attractions, and points of interest throughout the Bayou State. Chef John Folse's Louisiana Sampler, a companion cookbook to this series, contains the colorful history and culinary secrets behind Louisiana's most exciting festivals. For your copy, send a check or money order for $19.95 to Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Or use your credit card by calling toll-free 1-800-973-7246.